What's up, you guys? So in today's video, we're kind of just recapping the first half of my Fit2Fat2Forty journey, what we've both experienced, her perception versus my perception, the ups and downs, behind the scenes stuff that you might not have seen on social media, all the drama. Like if this was a Kardashians reality TV show, you would see a lot of the stuff that you aren't seeing. So we want to go over all that today and kind of catch you up to speed on where and how things are going, and we'll see if we stay together after this.
It's about to get real.
And there's some surprises, big surprises that might shock you.
Yes.
But this is
we're gonna tell all.
I'm gonna get naked. And
we're
not
gonna tell all.
But
I feel like two really big feelings are coming up for me.
Okay.
The first is I have so much respect and admiration for what you're doing.
Okay.
I've said this over and over, but as you get bigger, I realize more and more how seriously I would never do what you're doing. So I think that is the first thing. I've always had a lot of respect for you, obviously, but watching you go through this and watching all the struggles you're going through, I have so much respect for you and for what you're doing. The other main feeling that comes up is, this is hard. It's been really, really hard. And we've gone through things that I wasn't expecting. And this journey's just been so different than I thought it would be. And so my feelings towards you, I now feel closer to you than I ever have, only because of what we've been through. And it's just been really hard, and I've gotten to know a completely different side of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My feelings for you haven't really changed. If you go back to the beginning of her journey, I think she thought it was going to be fun. Like, this is going to be like quick. It'll be entertaining. Like, you'll get fat. You'll eat the food. You'll feel good. You'll feel a little bit bad, but it won't be that hard, right? And then you see throughout the journey, there's been moments where even on the first day, she cried on my very first weigh-in because she was like, I just realized I can't hike with you, can't bike with you, can't work out with you, I can't do these things. And like, I could tell like, uh-oh, this is gonna be harder for her than she thinks. And she's dealt with it okay, I'll say. The biggest thing is, like I said, my feelings for her haven't changed. But what's changed is her reaction to all the stuff that's happening, and like my schedule, the stress that puts on her and us. And obviously, yeah, I'm not the same version of myself. I'm not the best version of myself. And it's been harder on you than I think what you thought it would be. And it's been harder for you than what I thought it would be for you. Because I thought you were on board with all these things. And then you're like, nope, this doesn't work for me. I'm like,
I changed my mind.
I can't go back. I can't cheat. I can't like exercise with you to save our relationship. So it's been one of those things where I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. But yeah, my feelings for you haven't changed necessarily.
I thought for sure I could just let him eat his own food and I would eat my own, and it's not that way. It's not that way. I really thought like I have a handle on my food habits, and I feel like sometimes I feel just out of control. For example, Drew had a food challenge today, and I texted Ashton, his assistant. I'm like, what is Drew's food challenge today? She told me, she said, it's Oreos versus Nutter Butter. And you don't even know this. I didn't, and I was like, Ashton, I ate the Oreos. I probably
the whole bag?
Yeah, I probably did. Yes, I did, because they're so good. And I never eat Oreos, but so like that happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, like texting her like, we need more Oreos. But luckily you went and bought some, so good job. But like that happened, and I'm like, oh, and I was just gonna not tell you.
I never ate the whole bag of
But
Oreos.
I did, and it's so good. And every once in a while I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Like,
well, you're working out too, so it's not as big of a deal. So it's
that's
like,
true.
you have a couple here and there. So
That's true. And thus far, my weight is still the same. So, yes. Okay. Going out to eat is way more fun. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. Eating ice cream on the couch? We never do that. That is fun. What else?
I don't know. That's not the fun part for me.
Yeah,
I don't know
what's
if
fun for
there's
you?
not a lot of fun parts, to be honest with you. I mean, the food is temporarily like cool. It's fun. Like, I don't know. The fun? I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's very
consider any
different
of
for
this
you.
really fun. Just
Yeah.
because it's not like, I don't know. If I felt good all the time, it would be fun. If I ate this way and it felt good afterwards, yeah, that would be fun. But I don't really feel like it's fun for me. Like, oh, this is so entertaining. Like, the food definitely tastes good, but it's not like if I was living a healthy lifestyle, I was meal
Right.
prepping and exercising and eating healthy, and then every once in a while we had a cheat meal. That's when it's
That
fun.
would be fun. Yeah.
But it's like Christmas. If you have Christmas every single day, it loses its fun factor. So it's not. It's like once
Yeah,
a
it's
year.
not fun for you.
This is like every day. Like, all right, I'm excited a little bit, but
Which is so interesting. Like that to me, I'm like, wow. Because originally I thought this is going to be so much fun, but how interesting that like it's not. It's just hard and you just don't feel good.
It's freaking hard. Yeah. The worst. There's so many worse parts. There's not just one part. It's the whole thing. Like, I think I forgot how hard this journey was back in 2011. I think I forgot how hard it was going to be, and it's been really hard mentally, emotionally. You know, back in the day, I was married, which is a totally different family dynamic, and we had a newborn baby, and there wasn't as much pressure. There wasn't like,
Yeah.
you know, now it's like,
So
all right,
different.
now you have this platform, and now you have to deliver and perform and show every aspect of your life. Like, we're filming so much more of this journey, and, you know, being in a relationship, it's been harder on you than what you thought it was going to be. So it's added stress to both of our lives where, you know, like, you know, we've had some issues in our relationship. I'm not sure if this is going to be in the next question at all.
It's not really.
Okay, so
so
we'll talk
this
about
is
it.
probably a good time to
Yeah,
talk about
it's
the
been
worst part.
Yeah, so it's been a lot more stress on both of us than I think it's needed to be or thought it would be. But yeah, the hardest part is, one, not feeling great all the time, not sleeping well. When you're sleep deprived, your hormones change, and when your hormones change, your ability to handle stress changes. And so when she's freaking out or something, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. Then it becomes this huge argument, and then I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to argue. Don't want to be stressed out anymore. Like, what do we need to do to fix this? Because like, I just don't want to handle like dealing with emotions on top of the stress that I'm already dealing with is hard. Plus, I have two daughters who are emotional all the time, and dealing with their stress is really hard. And then trying to handle Julie's stress too is like, this is a lot on my plate. And running a business and being an entrepreneur. So we've had some issues in our relationship, to be honest with you. We took a break that a lot of people don't know about for a week. We decided to not fully break up, but just take a break, where she stayed at her house, I stayed here with my girls, and focus on what do we really want. And that was hard because we had a rock bottom moment, I guess you could say, in our relationship, where we just decided, like, look, this, like, you can't handle this, and I am trying to change for you, but I can't change my schedule completely. And like, it was we're kind of came to like a dead end of like, something's got to give. And so we made it through that. But it hasn't been easy. Like, it's not like everything's been easy since then, but it's tested our relationship in a lot of ways, and we've kept a lot of it secret and quiet.
Right.
But luckily we have an awesome therapist, and we have tools like meditation, and you get to exercise and hike and spend a lot of time reflecting.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give my version of my worst part.
Okay.
The worst part for me was us essentially getting to the point where we were both just done. We'd been trying everything. It was just not working. And like, our relationship, the dynamic has just changed so much. The things we used to do together, we don't. And it all came to a head, and neither one of us really had a solution. So we decided to take a break so that we could each process on our own to figure out, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to do this? For me, a lot of my processing was, I had to figure out, what am I holding on to? He would do things that are fairly minor, and it would just make me so mad. And so I really had to figure out, am I holding on to something that needs to come out, and can I really handle this? I mean, there's no normalcy in your life. I love you, but you're training for a 100-mile race, and now you're gaining 60 pounds on purpose, then you're going to lose it on purpose. And for me, I really had to ask myself, can I handle this? And I needed time to process that away from Drew, and it was awful. It was so sad and hard for me because I felt like it was over. So that was sad. And it was hard too because Drew and I process so differently. So during that week, we would check in with each other every morning and just say hi. And he seemed totally fine. And I was like, why are you fine without me? But he also needed to process in his own way. And obviously, I'm way more emotional and had a lot of time to be alone. And you had the girls that week. And you had a lot of things to process too. One of the hardest parts for me was thinking about losing you and the kids. And you were with your girls that week, and it was so hard for me because we didn't tell them because we didn't know what we were doing, and it was so hard to just let them think that I was choosing to stay at home and to not see them. That part was so hard. But we needed that time, but it would just, every once in a while, it would just hit me that, you know, they'd call, are you coming over? Are you coming over? And it was so hard for me to just say, no, I've got to stay home. I've got to work. That part was just awful. But I think it needed to happen. I think the break needed to happen for both of us. And it was also so hard to not tell anybody, which I'm glad we didn't, because I really wanted to process on my own and not have any other opinions. And we didn't know at the time what was going to happen. But that also was so hard for me that, we were taking a break, and I just put on this smile just because I knew there was, in a week, we'll know either way if we're going to stay together or break up. And at that point, we can talk about it. But it was really hard to keep it a secret. But I'm glad we did, and we're talking about it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely a hard part because, I still had to show up. I had to still be a dad. I couldn't, cry in my room and be upset. I couldn't just, go escape. I still had to show up as a dad. Then I still had to do Facebook Lives and Insta Stories and post and, eat the food. And so I couldn't, just escape from everything. I still have to show my life on this journey. And so that was kind of hard to all right, just kind of man up and still show up for people. And the show goes on, whether we're going through a breakup or not. But I think, the first month of my journey was super hard because I wasn't sleeping well at all. Every single night was
awful.
In the red or the yellow from my sleep data that I was tracking, and I just would wake up just feeling so sleep deprived every single night. And kind of compared to, all the parents out there know what it's like to have a newborn baby, where you're just not sleeping through the night. You're not the same version of yourself. You're totally in survival mode. You're more emotional. You're more reactive. You're less patient. You can't handle stress as much because you just I'm so stressed out. I need to get rid of all the things that are going to bring me stress. But obviously this was something that just was, can't just ignore it or pretend it doesn't happen. So it was hard for both of us. And this journey is stressful, but people see the happy, fun stuff on social media. They see me weighing in. They see me eating the food, doing the food challenges. And they're oh, this is awesome. Are you guys watching this? It's fun. It's funny. It's interesting. It's entertaining. But yeah, I went through this on my first journey too. It was harder than what people see. And so that's kind of why we're doing this video and creating this content to show people what's happening on the inside, what's really going on behind the scenes. And yeah, so that's kind of the purpose of this, to let you guys know what we're both going through.
Right. And there were a couple of days during that first month where I looked at Drew and I swear I didn't even recognize him because he was so sleep deprived, so depressed. I've never seen you depressed in my life. And there was a time when I looked at him and I'm oh my, at what point do we stop? I was thinking that. I know you're committed to doing it all the way, but there was a couple of times where I thought, this isn't good. And I looked at him and I said, please tell me you're still in there, because it's just completely changed you. And I think now, honestly, after doing the keto week and the paleo week and being, even though it was dirty keto and dirty paleo, it brought some of you back to me. So grateful for that.
Yep. But we have 2 more months left. A little
We
bit
have
2
2
months
months
left.
left.
So
And
it's
some
not gonna get
ideas.
easier. It's not going to get easier.
Yeah, and after our break, we just decided we had to set new boundaries. We had to make some new rules, because this is so different. Our relationship is completely different than it was before. So it was really important to take some time and figure out, okay, this needs to change. This needs to change. I need to do this for you. This is how I want you to show up for me. And so good things came from the break. I mean, I don't know if we would, like, if we had just kept going, we would have been just stuck.
Yeah, and we don't know what the future holds, too.
Drew knows. He's in love with me. He can't contain himself. He knows he wants to be with me forever. I'm not fooling anybody. It's okay. He just loves to talk about it.
Anyway. Julie's been more emotional than
Yeah.
what I thought she would be, and it's harder for her than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And like, she already has a stressful job, and so this added more stress to her life, and 2020 has been a stressful year for her. And so like, and her grandpa died, and like lots of family stuff and drama and stress, and so like, I thought she'd be okay with this, me doing this journey, would be on board with everything, but seeing her stress levels has been hard to watch, because I'm like I want to live a stress-free life, a drama-free life. I don't like drama, and I feel like there's all kinds of things that have caused drama that I feel like shouldn't be there. And so I've seen her get affected as if she's almost going through this journey with me.
Well, I am.
Well, what I mean is like as if you're actually eating the way I'm eating, and
I mean, I kind of am.
well, but not every single day. You like
Right.
fast, and you eat salads, and you like exercise, and so you have an outlet. So I was like,
Right.
oh, she'll be able to handle this so much easier, and I don't have an outlet. But anyways, that's the biggest changes I've noticed in her, are just how much this is affecting her more than I thought it would.
I am afraid of you getting really depressed, for sure, because I know you don't feel good. And if you, after the good diets, bad diets, what if you don't sleep again for a month? And what if, you just keep gaining weight and you're just, I mean, physically, obviously there's concerns, but I'm more concerned about your mental health.
Sure. But here's the thing. Like, I didn't just get depressed because of like what I'm doing in my situation. I was depressed because of how you were reacting to it. Like, if we didn't have a blow up, if we didn't have arguments, if we have you kind of coming at me, I don't have to deal with that. I'm pretty happy guy. Like, yeah, it sucks, dude, going through what I'm going through. But like, it's not like all of a sudden I just get depressed and shut off and don't show up as a dad or don't show up as a boyfriend. Like, I'm less energetic or less, happy. But I wouldn't say I ever get depressed. The only time I got depressed was when I was like, okay, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
It's not like I just got depressed, and then like stay stuck there. So I don't foresee that
That's
happening.
so interesting.
I don't see that happening if we don't go through that
Right.
again. If we don't go through a breakup or a break, then I won't have to deal with being depressed. So like, what I'm afraid of is honestly just it being hard for her, to where like she can't handle it. Then I'll get depressed probably. But like for me, like if like, let's say, I wasn't in a relationship. Let's say like we weren't together, we never met each other, and I was just doing this by myself.
It'd be so sad.
Like it would be fine because I would be able to get through the day. I know like this is temporary. Like I know I have all those tools, but like when I can't control you and your reaction to my situation, it is kind of demoralizing and pulls me down, but I don't foresee that happening, hopefully.
I hear you. And also, I
what?
don't think you're aware of how depressed you are sometimes. I think, and I say this with love, I think you're more self-conscious than you're willing to admit. Even if it's on the subconscious level, I do. And I think the food is making you it could be the lack of exercise, right? It could just is making you more depressed than you're aware of. I know, but
Depressed
I
is a
think
strong
so.
word. Like,
Okay.
you know people that have been depressed.
Moody.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm depressed, like clinically
Sad
depressed.
sometimes, up
Yeah.
and down.
I would just say I don't have any emotions. I'm not like as emotional. I'm just like,
Numb. That's actually something new. It really, I have seen you like numbing, and that's new because you're always
well, yeah, 'cause
vulnerability
I
is
can easily
strength,
numb
and I can handle this, and there's a little bit of numbing.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm aware of the numbing,
Yeah.
but that's kind of part of what I have to do. I have to eat the food anyways, and the food's gonna numb me, and drink alcohol, it's gonna numb me. So
Right.
like I have to do that anyways.
I have more fears. Are you ready?
More fears.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am afraid that you gained 30 pounds in 1 month. And I think November and December, I'm scared that you're going to gain another 30 and 30.
Like I'll gain 120 pounds.
Yes.
I
Well,
doubt
you lost
that.
30 pounds or you gained it in 1 month. So
Yeah, but
I'm
I can't
afraid that you're
keep up
going to
that
gain way
pace.
more than you think.
There's no, because I gained 14 pounds that first week. That's like,
Okay.
obviously, that's half of it right there. So like, let's see, I'm up like what, 7 pounds in month 2 so far,
I know,
in
I'm
2
so
weeks.
glad.
So there's no way it's gonna keep up that pace.
And I'm also afraid for myself.
Why?
One big fear that I have that I'm trying so hard to reel it in, I'm afraid I'm going to get fat. I am afraid.
You work out every
that-
day,
I
you
know,
go
but
to the
I'm
gym.
afraid that I'm just, especially around the holidays, I'm afraid that if there is like pumpkin pie in that fridge, I'm gonna go in there at
Costco
10
pumpkin
o'clock
pie.
and I'm
Can't
gonna
wait.
eat more of those treats than you do. So I'm afraid that I'm going to be gaining weight. However, I know I can lose it, especially if I do it with you.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of that. Do you have any fears about like our relationship for the next 2 months?
Yeah, I have fears that what happened during a breakup could repeat itself if things aren't put in check really quickly. I'm afraid of that happening, and then how that's going to affect me and the girls, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
But
glad you brought that up.
Why?
Because I'm not afraid of that.
oh, okay.
Like I don't foresee it happening. But
Yeah,
good
you
to know
never
that
know.
you have that fear.
And then, I'm always afraid of like not, like what if it doesn't work out? Like what if I stay stuck this way? What if I stay unhealthy and I can't get like, but I don't foresee that happening. That's not like a huge fear because I know that
Yeah.
that was my fear the first time, but I think my body responds really well to consistency and exercise and treating it well. And, I'm afraid of like how this is going to affect the girls long term. Like 10 years from now, will they be affected by this negatively? Because like, man, I really started eating those Oreos that Daddy let me eat, and now I can't stop eating them. Like, or like bad habits, or an unhealthy relationship with food. Where, like this is bad, and I can't have that food, and then they have an unhealthy relationship with food.
Right.
But I don't foresee that happening between me, you, Len, Rick, like all of us on the same team, coach them through that because there's a good balance. Like not everyone's a health nut, not everyone's super strict. There's a good balance of like, but also not super unhealthy either.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
So
I have one last fear. It's
Okay.
a big one. I'm so scared that in the next 2 months our sex drive is gonna go woo. Sex life. I mean, mine is still on the up and
yeah,
up,
but that's
and I'm
a
scared.
temporary thing. It's like a temporary thing. Like when you have a baby for 6 weeks, we can't have sex. And guess what?
But
it's just part of the
I'm
process.
not pregnant. I've never had a baby, so
I
I
know,
don't.
but
I can't
like-
relate to that analogy.
Well, I can.
Give me another.
And I don't know. So anyways,
No, go back up.
it's a temporary thing. It's
Go
a
back
temporary thing. It'll
Oh.
go away is when I start living healthy again. That's why I want to show people that you can improve your sex life by living a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And so it's not going to stay stuck there forever where I'm just going to feel super self-conscious and super unmotivated, no libido. Like the testosterone will go back up and I'll, be back on it.
You know what good thing I think has come from this though? I think we have figured out a new type of connection and intimacy without having sex because you're tired all the time. I feel like
Like eating ice cream together on the couch. It's kind of intimate.
that's great. And we never did that before. The thing that nobody knows about Drew, unless you like live with him, before this, Drew wouldn't even sit down during the day. Like I'm not kidding, he wouldn't sit down to eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, especially if we're having like a family meal.
Yeah, it's a
Drew would
waste.
not sit down. He wouldn't sit down in front of the TV. Like literally, you never sat down. So it is a new form of love that we are sitting on the couch, eating ice cream together, and I'm sneaking the Oreos. It's nice. I like that. Can we keep some of that? We need to keep some of that in the journey back to fit. So you just figure out how to work that out into
We'll see.
your
Probably not for the first
macros.
first 4 months. I'm going to be pretty strict because I got to get back in shape, and then we can talk about maintenance and things like that, cheat meals.
Okay.
But I think that's it, right? Awesome. Any
What
other
else?
questions from the audience? We're good. So more
That
to
was
come.
intense. It was
More to
vulnerable.
come. Yep. I think if I could just, in my mindset, get through the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it'll be smooth sailing after that. Like, all right, just got to get through the holidays. Like my 100-mile race, just got to get through this, got to get through this next mile. And before you know it, 100 miles is done.
Yeah.
And then you can relax and
And
have a
after
donut
that, a
and take
year
a
of
nap.
normalcy. No gaining weight, no losing weight, no 100 miles.
We'll see.
And whatever crazy thing I decide to do is support. You need to
Okay.
support it.
Fit2Fat2Forty. Thank you guys. More to come.